Hey everyone.
Hi there.
Welcome to day 15, Walking and Talking with Dom and Mare. We've made it halfway through our 30-day challenge, and we're super stoked. We had a great experience meeting someone on the street, socially distanced of course, who was just really a light, and it was amazing meeting this woman. So it just gave us an extra charge to move forward. All right, what are we talking about today?
So today we're going to talk about our inner critics and who is driving your bus, yourself or the inner critic.
That's right. We want you guys to take a look at who is motivating your movements or lack of movements. Do you feel trapped in your own body, like you're not able to make a decision? Do you feel that you're alone? Do you feel that no one could relate to you because you feel like no one would know what you're going through? And lastly, do you feel like you'd be a burden on someone? Those are the main indicators to let you know that you're not driving the bus. For those of you who don't know what inner critics are, they're voices that you hear when you're about to do something. They tell you not to do something. You generally don't hear them telling you to do something. You hear them tell you not to do something. Why it's a bad idea to try something different. Why you should stay exactly where you are. So we're going to look at all of the things that make up the inner critics. We're going to look at the who, the what, the where, the when, the how, and the why.
The 5 W's.
And the H. The first part is the who. Who are the voices that are speaking to you? Now, if you listen really carefully when you hear inner critics, you can probably hear whether it's a male or a female voice. And the first people you're going to get these from are from family members. It could be a mother, a father, a grandma, a grandpa, people who have provided criticism for you in the past. You could repeating those messages in your head that were once told to you. You could also pick up from a mother or father's their own inner critics that people have had their whole life saying, oh, you have to be careful about that or don't do that. And you may just pick up on that and carry that forward with you. The third voice you could hear is actually from yourself. When you have a traumatic event, you often have inner critics join you to keep you from repeating the same painful memory. And so oftentimes it's your own self that's giving you this message of not to do something because they want to keep you safe.
The next is why. Why do they say the things they do? It's because they actually love you and they want to keep you safe.
Inner critics are used to keep you where you are. They're afraid of you going out and not listening to them anymore. They're afraid that you're going to get hurt again. And so inner critics by nature want to keep you in a safe place, but often what happens is they keep you from living. The next is what they say to you, the messages that they say. Generally, inner critics will always have messages against you doing something. They won't generally say, try this, or do this, or stay where you are. They usually give you reasons and arguments against doing something, against moving, against changing, against trying. I actually wrote an article, which I have on my Facebook page you can look at, which looks at the differences between your gut instincts and inner critics and how they differ. And you can look at that. But let's look at an example here. Mare, when did you know you wanted to go back and get a second credential for special education?
In 1999.
And when did you actually do that?
2014.
And when were your inner critics the loudest?
When I was applying for school and when I was ready to leave my job.
Because they're afraid of the fear, most of all. They're trying to keep her as much where she was as much as possible. And they will always get louder right before you're doing something that's going to be good for you. A few examples of what my inner critics have said to me have been, don't exercise because of your injury and it'll just get worse if you go out there. They've also said, don't even try that because you may fail and that would be really terrible. You couldn't take another failure right now. They've also said, don't try that because you may succeed and your success may put a rift between you and your wife and it won't be the same anymore. Okay, FYI, just so you know, I had a lot of my own inner critic stuff today because I kept hearing, that take was terrible. This is stupid. No one wants to hear this stuff. And so I had to stop, turn it off, do some inner critic work, and get rid of that what was going on. And now we're going back to the video. So the next is where. Where do they want to keep you?
So inner critics want to keep you exactly where you are.
They thrive on a few things. They thrive on keeping you into certain safe habits. They thrive on keeping you in neurotic pathways where you can take one fearful thought and go down a rabbit hole that keeps you frozen where you are. And they also thrive on vices. Vices are the coping mechanisms that inner critics use to keep you exactly where you are. And it could be any type of addictive item that keeps you in a corner, and no one wants to keep baby in a corner. The next is, when will they talk to you? And we mentioned this before, but they're generally going to talk to you when you're doing something that they hate. And here are the things that inner critics hate. They hate it when you are making movement. They hate it when you are want to make change. They're hating when you want to develop yourself personally. And they hate it when you want to express yourself emotionally in a healthy way. The last thing that they do is the how. How do they keep you down? Well, they always try to repeat your biggest pains and your biggest fears. They really go after three things that you can just summarize into: they want to make you feel alone, they want to make you feel your biggest pains and fears, and they want to make you feel like you would be a burden on other people. Here's some action steps that you can take to get back behind the driver's seat. Number 1, fire the driver. Talk to your inner critics. When you hear them, you can do one of two things. If you hear them say something, you can either do exactly the opposite of what they're telling you to do. If they say you should stay indoors, if you go outside, you could get sick. Well, go outside and walk around the yard for 10 minutes and then come back in and just see how it feels from then, and see if they're going to talk as loud the next time. Number 2, when you hear them and they say, give you advice, what you can say is, thank you for your advice. I appreciate your input, but I'm going to do this instead. Number 3, what you can do is you can fire them. You can say, listen, you are dismissed. You're not giving me good information anymore. I dismiss you. And the last thing you can do is you can start reaching out to people. The biggest thing that they have against you is they try to trick you into thinking that you're alone. But I got to tell you, I have inner critics. Mara has inner critics. You have inner critics. There are a lot more of us than there are of normal people. So take that into account, but you are the only one who can reach out and ask for help. You're the only one that can build a community. Communities didn't just happen. Someone had to walk up to someone else and say, hey, do you want to build a community around here? That's how it comes together. You have to reach out, and you have to reach out and ask people about themselves and serve them. Ask if you can go on a walk with socially distance with someone. Ask if you could trade or barter food with someone. Start building a community, and make sure when you reach out to people that you would like to be like, and not people that would keep you in the same habits that you do. What I'm saying is, call people that you think have a little bit more that they've learned on that end, that you could start to emulate their behavior. So if you do those things, they can help put you behind the driver's seat, get you going, and then it gives you some techniques to use when you know someone else is jumping behind the wheel. You got this. Keep going. We're with you. We're behind you. And you guys have a great day.